Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unliked and Unbothered, the show where we find the truth and the truth doesn't need your approval. I'm your host, Justin, and solo host today, Justin, but 3 different camera angles. So I'm here in a couple different angles and a couple different lights for you. Obviously, the side one, not so beneficial for me because I'm a fat fuck. Tyrone was having some more technical issues, but we are going to get him set up with a nice computer station where he can actually sit down and calm his ass. Now, today's episode, I'm going to be quick. Again, it's just me kind of going through this. I may be a little bit controversial because what I'm talking about here is a little spicy and is a little political. So, just to give you a little bit of rundown, I can show you my T-shirt, which is some merchandise from the Louder with Crowder store, which is kind of an idol of mine in regards to how he set up his podcast. Once again, he's a controversial type as far as what he's talking about because he doesn't just allow you to kind of walk all over him and, tell him what he should think. He's not a puppet. So just kind of showing you where I'm coming from here. This is obviously just showing you, we're happy again that we won. MAG is here again. And that just means to make us great again. And again is, what we've always been. I mean, if we're America first, then we will be the superpower in the world. Ultimately, I don't think we need to be the referee for all these other people that are trying to go to war, but ultimately, being the superpower, we can afford some big protections, and also have leverage in negotiations, as our President Donald Trump has shown here in the last year. First thing on the docket today is I did read something up about how Oklahoma's public schools, they're going to be vetting their teachers that are transferring from states like New York and California. I mean, to me, that sounds like a good idea, especially if you're coming into a land, i.e. Oklahoma, who, their demographics kind of side one way. They're a red state. I feel like as far as Republicans, conservatives, we've allowed stuff to go too far. And this might be the only way of vetting and legislating that is, okay, well, if the federal government's not going to do what Americans should be doing for America first, then we'll take it into our own hands and make sure that we're vetting anybody that does come in here does have our cultural views. So I definitely agree with that. It looks like the test that was that the one that was created for this was created by PragerU, which has in the past been looked at as a right-winged organization. But Dennis Prager, I've listened to a lot of his stuff. Once again, through the Steven Crowder show, he was actually a guest on there. And he's a pretty intelligent guy. A couple of things I don't agree with. I remember one of the things that he had said, and I agreed with it at first, was that people in this world are basically good. And, I thought about it. I was like, that's right, man. I mean, most of us want to do good. Most of us want to do something that benefits people or helps somebody. But then I thought about it and I talked to a friend of mine. And, without structure or something to provide you a moral compass, I don't think that people will do good without somebody driving that moral compass. So, as I once agreed with Mr. Prager, and it's fine if I don't agree with people 100%. And on that one piece, I tend to think that we've got to instill the moral compass in people who are not basically good. Boycotting Israel. I think at this point, hey, first of all, I want to give a big congratulations to Donald Trump and his administration for bringing peace to Gaza. I'm sure that all you fucking liberals out there don't care to hear that, but he did bring peace to the Gaza Strip over there. And, ultimately, I'm not sure what to believe anymore. I don't live there, so I can't speak anecdotally in regards to what they're actually experiencing right now. But I do feel a little like Israel is like an ironclad nation for the United States to constantly protect. And, at one point or another, I feel like your big brother doesn't need to like you. There's no rules in this world that makes it so we have to like my younger brother. Meaning my protection for my brother is like a necessity because he's family. But there's a line that you cross in regards to how you as the younger brother are acting and me as the big brother deciding if I'm going to protect you because your words and your actions are out of whack. And, as much as I believe that boycotting and protesting and whatnot is your right to do, I think through those words you can find some culturalistic differences, and you end up making decisions based off of some of those comments that show true colors, like death to America. If you're saying that in the streets, I don't care. We can throw you away. If you don't like America, get the fuck out. In regards to Hamas, I think there's a lot of Palestinians who, they are getting hurt and they could be innocent. I can't imagine that the thousands of people that are dying, not one of them is an innocent civilian. But what I have a view of, like, when you drop dirt, you got to clean it up. When you fuck up, when you piss your bed, you got to lay in it. So Hamas, sure, as a dictator, is probably not going through with elections that are fair. I imagine there's no place in the world that does that anymore because, the issues we have here in America. But you guys voted in Hamas. It's time to lay in your bed a little bit. Again, we're going to be the referees like we always do. America. And we're going to fucking tell you that you better stop shooting each other, because if you don't, we're not going to be protective big brother anymore. Now, is arresting somebody for protesting to free Palestine a violation of the First Amendment? Yeah. But we're allowing it to happen. And if somebody's getting arrested for it, this is the part where I side on America first. I mean, if you're clearly a part of a culture that is constantly preaching death to America, whatever it takes, throw you in the van, especially if you're not a legal citizen here. If you're not, we're throwing you in the van, throwing you on the plane and sending you back home, which I totally agree with, because why the fuck would we allow people to just come and talk shit about the country that you're reaping the benefits off of? If you don't like it, it's that easy to leave. Okay. Some people are calling the arrests a sign of authoritarianism. I can, be on the fence on that one. Again, it's kind of a time for drastic measures, and Trump has got to send some people in to repair everything, to repair the cesspool of leaders who have not led us to be great. And now we finally have somebody in place, and there's more than half of us that are piss ants, liberals, that just can't handle when he does something good. You can't check it off as a good. Literally, he sees fire and everybody's, no, not you. You can't do it. It's got to be somebody else. Dude, just fucking ride the train. It's the Trump train. Get on it, bitch. SBC's North Texas Conference votes to press a national same-sex marriage ban. Now, I've been a firm believer as far as sex and your sexuality. Sure, I think we should keep it out of schools. So the fact is, I think that conservatives and or Republicans have allowed this to go on for too long, and now we find ourselves in a drastic time for drastic measures. And there's people like this North Texas conference that's, you know, they're just making sure that the conversation is still there, because there is not a majority, but a big percentage of the people, i.e. Texas, a lot of other Republican areas, that do see that same-sex marriage is kind of blasphemous. Now, if you are somebody who gets into the Bible, you'll eventually see that. I remember I've only heard a few things. The Book of John, I'm kind of halfway through. Obviously, it's just a start, but baby steps, got to start somewhere. Homosexuality wasn't even a word in the original Testament, because it was so blasphemous to even think that that was a possibility. And now we're at a point in life where we've allowed it to go on for so long that it's bled into other things like transgender or drag queen story hour in schools. It's not something I'm going to be siding with. Sex should not be in schools. Health on your sexual organs is a different piece. But if you're telling kids how they should feel in regards to their sexuality, you are abusing children. People in the world that aren't family, they shouldn't be teaching your kids about sex. And plain and simple, as far as same-sex marriage, whatever you do in your bedroom, keep it in your bedroom. Pride marches, to me, are satanistic. And you can say what you want about me. However, you have people forcing sexuality on people who are in the public. And if you know anything about deadly sins, you know pride is a huge one. And this is one that I struggle with a lot, because I'm building studio. You got all this stuff. We're building it here. And sometimes I get some belief based on my successes. When I see that belief, consume me, then I start saying, hold on a minute, hold on a minute, dude, hold on a second, hold on. You stop and you say, do I have too much pride right now? Do I have too much in myself? Am I too happy to move on to the next goal? To be able to handle what success I had, forget about it, and do it again. That's one of the things I've learned from playing sports at a high level, is you got to forget to play. Whether it be good or bad, you got to forget about it. I've said it before. Your timeline is only behind you. If you're looking back at it, it's only going to ever drag you down. So in regards to this, same-sex marriage ban, I don't care if federal government allows or removes it. I side more with the side that allows it, because I'm more of a libertarian in the guise of, hey, let people do what they want to do. But I'm also siding with them a little bit, because things have gone too far. You let this rope go, and then you let this rope, and it gets so far that you can't really pull it all back in. And there's a lot of people on it. I don't think that I don't know. I don't think that same-sex marriages hurt anybody, but I also am a believer. So I, in the eyes of same-sex marriage, care about you and don't want you to be judged in the end to not make it to God's kingdom. Makes sense. I don't, again, it's just a belief. Again, I'm more of a Christian than anything. Ultimately, I'm trying to be faith driven. And there's a piece of me that says, well, I don't want you to go that route because I want you to be in the kingdom of heaven when we both are gone. So it seems like Trump has been using some federal power to target some Democrat-run states. With the National Guard going into Chicago, Portland, if I could show you clips on here, I would. I mean, but I'm just alone in the studio today. So as in regards to clips, I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, we're seeing people get jumped. We're seeing destruction to buildings. And you know, it seems like all the media outlets are just telling you not to believe your lying eyes. They're always telling you something that you're seeing is not what you're seeing. And in regards to Trump targeting Democrat-run states, well, it's just like cops shooting people as a bystander from how people react to them in certain situations. Well, we're seeing the fucking crime skyrocket in these areas. Therefore, we're going to send enforcement there. Sure, it's not law enforcement, which is where it comes into, is he going too far with this? Well, again, drastic times calls for drastic measures, and Democrats are seeing a pattern of inflicting pain to deal with these things by the Trump administration. Well, I wish Tyrone was here because we had talked about it before. You know, if you know that house is protected by guns, you think twice about going in there. If you go in there, let's say you're robbing the place and you hear a pump action shotgun get loaded, it's you running. So, you know, I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment. You know, obviously protect yourselves with everything that's been going on lately, and people like me, fucking Crowder, Charlie Kirk, obviously, we're getting hunted at this time because we see America first, and we don't realize it, but we're here in this country that is a superpower, and everyone from the outside is looking in, acting like they don't want to be a part of it, but they know that freedom is not anywhere obtainable besides here. You can be arrested for jokes in Canada, all right? Being arrested for saying death to America, or let's say calling to action on, i.e., President Trump, Bush, Obama, anybody, that's a crime. And you need to be dealt with accordingly. So as far as like death to America, I think we should add that to a list of crimes and send them out. As far as pain, I think this is just a growing pain. This is part of making America great. So the pain sucks. And when we talk about culture, I really think it does come down to what you align with in regards to your religious views. This country was built on the Ten Commandments. The Bill of Rights are all God-given rights. You don't have to do anything but just be born, which is something to be grateful for in itself. Because the chances of you actually being born, I don't know the percentage. I'm not going to pretend like I do, but it's small, it's slim. A lot of things have to happen, and they all have to go well for 9 months, more than that, to make sure that a baby comes out fine. I suppose the last thing I could tell you about me is I feel like the only time that we can determine whether a child is a life or not is at the heartbeat. I think it's the perfect line for us to be able to hold people accountable for their choices. Self-control. You know, we have to have self-control to not spread our legs and get with as many guys as possible. And as guys, we also need to be able to respect relationship. I think there's a lot of guys that, maybe i.e. watch porn, or they go and they are with girls, multiple girls, and they don't think about it, and they don't have any remorse for it. They just continue to do that stuff. I think we've gotten away from the monogamy in this world, which I feel is a Christian view. And I think we need to, water that a little bit more as Americans, because I do believe that the best way to, govern yourself is with a nuclear family. And we've come a long way from people in the masses thinking that a nuclear family is an important thing. I feel like conservative men haven't really swayed much in that, but everybody else with, feminist movements and the I don't need no man kind of thing going around destroys the idea of the nuclear family, in which has shown numbers and a number of times being the best thing for a child, wife, husband, regardless of their problems. It's the best way to succeed. Having a mother that nurtures and a father that protects. Again, you can say what you want about gender roles, but I believe those are gender roles. I believe it's our obligation as men to protect and provide and be good leaders with a spine. It's tough. It's tough in days that some people don't agree with you. I guess that's the end of the show today. Again, I didn't have much to go with today. Tyrone having a few technical issues. Will be available next week for sure, because we sent him some equipment. Hopefully it'll work with his new laptop and we can get him going. It is the 12th of October. We do have some football games going on today, which is great. Go football. I love football. And with that being said, I'm going to sign off. Everyone have a great day. I thought this was America. I'm sorry.